Friends, today we are about to uncover a secret that has remained hidden from the eyes of hundreds, even thousands of people, concealed within a small coin, an ordinary-looking 1944 wheat penny that may have been in your childhood piggy bank or sitting in an old cash box in your store. Yet inside it lies a story, a hidden truth that once discovered will make you never consider it ordinary again. These are coins that an average person used only for daily transactions, but for collectors, they are treasures, a hidden story that reveals to us the historical realities of America in 1944, the societal changes brought about by the war, and the meticulous effort and tiny errors of the artisans who struck these coins. And then comes the moment when these coins suddenly command millions of dollars worldwide for collectors, and every scratch, every metallic discoloration, every detail of the edge tells a story that only a keen observer can notice. And this is the very moment that makes us realize that a small, seemingly ordinary 1944 wheat penny, which you may have never given much thought to, can lead you into the secret world of hidden treasures. A secret reserved only for those willing to look closely, dive into its history, and understand its hidden uniqueness. Even if you hold this coin in your hand for the first time, you might think it is just an ordinary penny, a simple piece of metal used in daily transactions, yet within it lie tiny imperfections, small scratches, and sometimes anomalies from the minting process that transform this coin from ordinary to extraordinary. And these are the aspects only collectors who examine each coin with both their eyes and their mind can appreciate. The 1944 coin holds more than just design. It holds an entire story, one that tells us about the social and economic realities of America during wartime, metal scarcity, and the priorities of that era, and it helps us understand how a small penny today has become one of the most rare and valuable collectibles. This coin is not just a combination of metal and design. It is a historical artifact, a hidden narrative that transports us to the days of 1944, when ordinary citizens went about their daily lives with these pennies in their pockets or wallets. Every scratch and every mark bears witness to whose hands it passed through, who touched it, and how this coin survived until today. And this is the moment when suspense and curiosity arise because you want to know why this coin is rare, what its value is, and how this seemingly ordinary penny has become a hidden treasure for collectors. In 1944, the composition of pennies was changed due to wartime shortages. Pennies included more zinc and steel instead of copper. And these are the factors that today can create a difference of millions in a coin's rarity and value. Some pennies even contain minting errors or die cracks, and these are the coins that sell for top prices in auction houses. Every slight variation, whether in color, thickness, or metallic composition, is a clue for an expert. A hidden story that shows us how an ordinary penny became extraordinary. And friends, this is not just about technical aspects. Every coin carries a human story. An ordinary citizen used this penny in daily life, and likely never imagined that it would one day become a priceless treasure for collectors. Imagine a person in a small town, going to buy groceries, handing over a penny, and that same penny later finding its place in the pages of history. This is the dramatic irony that makes documentary-style narration so engaging, because we know that this ordinary coin is part of an extraordinary story, and it reminds us that history is hidden everywhere, whether in a small penny or a larger historical artifact. Even from an ordinary collector's perspective, there is suspense. Every scratch, every discoloration, every delicate edge detail tells a story that only those who take the time to study and analyze coins can see. The 1944 wheat penny holds not only history but also mystery, a mystery that even decades later continues to bring excitement and thrill to collectors. Friends, when we talk about this small 1944 penny, we shouldn't just look at its outward appearance. This coin is a window into a time when America was in the middle of a great war, and everything was being affected, from people's daily lives to the way coins were minted. Imagine an ordinary mint worker handling metal all day with heat and presses, perhaps never realizing that the penny coming from his hands would become a treasure decades later. It is these tiny details, like slight variations in the metal alloy, minute imperfections on the edges, or small surface scratches, that transform an ordinary coin into something extraordinary today. In 1944, due to a shortage of copper, more zinc and steel were used in pennies, and these subtle changes are what make the coin distinguishable. Some pennies had variations so rare that collectors classify them as key dates or rare mint variations. And the interesting part is that these variations aren't always noticeable at first glance. Only an expert can identify these subtle differences. This is the mysterious layer hidden in every ordinary penny, and it is what makes it extraordinary for both historians and collectors. Friends, every penny also carries a human story. Imagine a person in a small town, busy with daily errands, buying groceries, paying for lunch, pulling a penny from their pocket, completely unaware that decades later this coin would hold unimaginable value for a collector. This dramatic irony makes documentary-style narration even more engaging, because we know that this ordinary-looking coin, which the citizen might never have thought special, has become a hidden story in the pages of history. Another fascinating aspect of the 1944 wheat penny is its design. On the front side, Abraham Lincoln's portrait, with intricate details and fine lines that may contain minute imperfections, and on the reverse side, the wheat stalks design, which makes the coin visually striking. These are all clues for collectors. Every scratch, every discoloration, every slight irregularity on the edge provides a historical snapshot, telling us where this penny has been, whose hands it passed through, and how it survived. Now consider how much history, how many secrets, and how much suspense can be hidden inside a seemingly ordinary coin. This is what makes the 1944 wheat penny distinctive and rare. This coin is more than just metal and design. It is an artifact, a storytelling medium, showing us the social, economic, and wartime realities of its time. Every tiny detail, whether a surface scratch, an edge imperfection, or a change in metal coloration, gives us a glimpse of a time when pennies were not just an exchange medium but also historical witnesses. Friends, this is not just a technical or historical analysis. It is a journey that takes us through the streets of 1944 America, the mint houses, the daily life of citizens, and the perspectives of collectors. Imagine an expert collector who has decades of experience analyzing coins, suddenly discovering that they have a 1944 wheat penny that is not only rare but contains anomalies that may exist in only a few coins in the world. This is the excitement, the thrill, and the suspense hidden in every coin, and it is what makes documentary-style narration so engaging. Remember also that 1944 pennies occasionally contain extraordinary minting errors or die anomalies. Some pennies have double dies, extra lines, or small die cracks, which make them distinguishable from ordinary coins. These are the secret clues visible only to the keen-eyed collector. Imagine a penny you once thought ordinary suddenly becoming a historical treasure in your hands, with every scratch, every discoloration, and every tiny imperfection on the edge telling a story that is decades old. The suspense of the 1944 wheat penny is not only in the errors or anomalies, it is also in its historical context. This was a year when copper was scarce due to the war, metal allocations were restricted, and every penny was the result of careful planning and design. Imagine the planning, human effort, and precise technical work behind creating an ordinary penny. Then it enters circulation, passes from pocket to pocket, and many years later becomes a part of history for a collector. This is the magical intersection where ordinary and extraordinary meet. And this is why the 1944 wheat penny remains a center of mystery and thrill for collectors even today. Friends, as we delve deeper into the secrets of the 1944 wheat penny, we begin to understand that this coin is not just a small piece of metal, but a historical document, a hidden narrative that can still amaze us decades later. For every collector, it is a treasure hunt, because every scratch, every discoloration, every tiny irregularity on the edge provides clues about where this penny has been, whose hands it passed through, and how it survived until today. Imagine an ordinary collector, who may have purchased this penny simply to complete their collection, suddenly realizing that the coin contains a rare mint variation, and in that moment, their life changes, as the penny transforms from an ordinary-looking object into a hidden treasure. Now let's consider its metal composition story. In 1944, due to copper scarcity during the war, more zinc and steel were used in pennies, and these subtle differences are what today can make a coin's rarity and value worth millions of dollars. Some pennies had variations so rare that collectors identify them as key-date pennies, and such coins sometimes sell at auctions for hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the suspense that excites every collector, The thought that perhaps they too might have a coin that exists in the hands of only a few collectors worldwide, and that could be worth millions. Friends, the 1944 wheat pennies minting errors are also of particular interest to collectors. Imagine a penny with doubled dies, die cracks, or small scratches that distinguish it from ordinary pennies. These are the clues only expert collectors can identify, and this is the magic that transforms an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. And when such a penny goes to auction, a subtle tension arises among collectors, a suspense that lingers over the value of a coin that is decades old and could fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars. This suspense is not only in technical or minting errors but also in its historical context.